Hi friends, my name is Mariana. I'm a recruitment specialist at Onondaga Community College, and today I'm here so that you guys can ask me anything. A little bit of background. As I said, I'm a recruitment specialist, so what that means is I talk to prospective students and families and just give them some information about OCC and talk about programs. I talk about any relative information, and I answer any questions that you guys have, which I'm doing today. So I've got the information in my head here, and I got the chat over here, so if you guys just want to type in the chat bot over here, I can look over and answer them as they come in. I can actually see myself on the screen, which is a little weird, but hey, it's there. So let's get started. Whatever questions you guys have, please ask away. If not, I'm just gonna ramble, and I prefer questions. Sometimes I don't like to hear myself talk all that often. So I'm gonna ramble. I guess I'll give you a little bit of information about some new things that we have going on at OCC. So recently we have broken up our programs into 8 different schools, and those 8 different schools are kind of, we decided to group students together based on their interests. So for example, you know, we have the School of Liberal Arts, we have the School of Math and Science, we have the School of Health, different things like that. So whatever students' interests are, we group them based on the schools. Each school has their own advisor, and each school has their own success coach. What that means is, I'm gonna finish this thought, and then I see that Melissa has a question. But what that means is the advisors help with academic interests, not interests, but I guess academic things like registering for classes, adding and dropping classes. And then the success coach kind of helps with the non-cognitive skills. So any resources that students need while they're on campus, if they need to be helped in, find the learning center, or if they need counseling or to go to the community care hub, the success coach offers a nice way to point students in the right direction. So Melissa says that I see classes are open for a preview on the 24th, but classes begin on the 31st. I'm already enrolled in real-time remote. Do I log in the 24th and 26th for that class? Melissa, that's a really good question. Let's see, classes of preview. I don't know the answer to that, but if you do know what the class is and you know who your professor is, I would just reach out to your professor ahead of time and make sure that you're not missing something. If it's open for a preview, that might mean that your professor is gonna have your syllabus up or something like that. But just go ahead and reach out to your professor. I think that's the best way to get your answer for you. But yes, classes do start on the 31st officially. And again, guys, keep the questions coming, otherwise I'm gonna start rambling. And Melissa, if that didn't answer your question, let me know. Just pop back in there. All right. You are welcome, Melissa. I think I'll take a little bit of this time to talk about some community college myths. I'm gonna dispel some of those myths for you. I think that people tend to err on the side of caution when it comes to education at community colleges, and I just wanna tell you guys right now that that should not be the case. Community colleges are a great way for students to really help themselves, find themselves, really figure out what they're interested in, because you'd probably be coming to school for half the price of what you would pay at maybe a 4-year state or private institution. And that's a really good way to save some money. And it's a really good way if you're not 100% sure what you want to do. It's a good way to figure it out and also save some money. And Melissa also has another question. Will professors email the links to access remote classes? Does this happen just once, or do we get a link each day before class? That's a fantastic question. Your professor is gonna email links. It's gonna depend on if you're doing Zoom or Microsoft Teams. So that is gonna be something, again, I'm sorry, that you'll have to ask your professor. But your professor will have that information. If they're doing something on Microsoft Teams, it might be a common link. If they're doing something via Zoom, they might have to send the links out more than once. But either way, I always tell students, just constantly check your email and constantly be in contact with your professors. And they'll let you know what's going on too. Since you are doing a real-time remote class, and it's a little bit different from what students have been experiencing in the past, there's gonna be sections that are on professor syllabi that indicate what it is, what the class is, and how to access the information. Thank you for your questions. And let me keep them coming if you guys have any more. But back to talking about some myths about community college. I think that, I can say I grew up probably like 45 minutes from Syracuse, and we had a community college there as well. And I noticed that some of the myths were the same across the board, which kind of isn't necessarily fair, and they're definitely not true. Some of the professors that we have here at OCC teach at other institutions. So they teach at four-year institutions. They teach at private schools, they teach at public schools. And that just means that, why would they expect anything different from their students at a community college if they're teaching the same content? So, assuming that classes are easier or they're not as hard or anything like that is just a myth. So just keep that in mind when you're thinking about community colleges, when you're thinking about OCC, to just know that we have fantastic professors across the board. And we offer so many different classes for students, whether you're interested in the sciences, if you're interested in nursing, if you're interested in liberal arts. There's a plethora of things that students can see. And Melissa, you are welcome. Thank you for asking questions. Again, friends, I just want to reiterate, for those of you that I'm just seeing that we have a few more people that are watching. Go ahead and pop into the chat and ask any questions. Let's see, Michael Wilson. Hi, Michael. Yes, the library is open. So pretty much everything on campus is open and able for students to use. It's just we have some safety measures in place. For example, we are social distancing, and there's another word that I'm trying to think of. De-densifying, there's that big word. We're social distancing and de-densifying classrooms and spaces. So there are computers that are available for students to use, but they're 6 feet apart, just to keep that in mind for COVID times. But yes, the library is open. You're able to go in there. You're able to check out books. You're able to use the resources, but we are just doing so so that you can be safe. Great question, Michael. All right. So what other questions do we have? I guess I can go a little bit more into a little bit more about OCC. So OCC has a number of different programs, and I'll get back into the schools in a little bit that I mentioned earlier, but I'll talk about the programs first. We have a number of different programs. We have what we call direct-to-career programs, and we also have, direct-to-career and then transfer programs. Wow. That's like the main bulk of my job that I tell students. So we have transfer programs and direct-to-career programs. And the difference is we have direct-to-career programs that are specifically designed to help students, specifically designed to help students who want to enter into the workforce. So that career choice, that career path is specifically designed to help students gather the necessary skills to be successful in the workforce. The transfer programs, on the other hand, are specifically designed for students who want to transfer to a four-year institution to pursue their bachelor's degree. Because at OCC, we offer students associate's degrees with the option to enter into the workforce and or transfer to get their bachelor's degree at a four-year institution. I see Michael has another question. What is the best way to talk to an advisor? Great question, Michael. The best way to talk to an advisor is if you're registered for classes, which if you applied and registered, fantastic. You're gonna wanna get in contact with the school's specialists based on what your program is. So say you were in the School of Health. You would wanna go on the School of Health page and call the school's secretary specialist and make an appointment with an advisor. And Michael, if you want any more detail about that, let me know. Signed up for box of books to be mailed. Oops. Melissa, I signed up for box of books to be mailed to my home. Should I expect them before school starts? We're gonna do our best to get the books out to students. You do have some time, so you should expect them before school starts. If you're having any difficulty or you're having any questions, please contact the bookstore or Barnes & Noble. They will be able to hopefully tell you where your order is, but you do have some time, so if you did order them already, I I would expect them hopefully soon. And since Michael asked the question about the advisors, it's a good time to go into a little more depth about the schools. I think we have 8 different schools, and off the top of my head, hopefully I can name them all, but we'll see. If not, I can pop them into the chat later. But there's 8 different schools. We have the School of Liberal Arts, we have the School of Math and Science, the School of Health, the School of Computing and Applied Technologies, the School of Public Safety, oh, and I'm missing 2, the School of, is it? Fail. But that's okay, because I can look them up easily. But within those schools, you guys are gonna have success coaches and you guys are gonna have advisors. And the good news is about that is, if you're in the school of, a School of Music one? I think School of Music one. If you're in the School of Liberal Arts, you're not gonna have an advisor that's in the School of Health because they're not specific to what you're looking to study or what you're looking to major in. So we've got advisors that are specifically designed to help you in your career area, in your career of interest, so that they can point you in the right direction and they understand, you know, that that's their field as well, so they have the best knowledge to help you. Is it mandatory to have health insurance to dorm? That's a really good question. I don't know off the top of my head, but we're gonna find out for you and we're gonna pop it in the chat. I don't wanna say yes or no yet, but I know that there's a way for students on campus to get health insurance if they do need it. So let's see. We're gonna find that out for you though, I promise, before this session's over. Okay, we got 7 people. All right, so what other questions do we have? Keep them coming, guys, because like I said, it's just gonna be me talking, and I would much rather answer your questions. And to answer that last question, yes, you do need to have health insurance to live on campus. Okay. All right. Let's dive a little bit more into the common myths about community college. So another common myth is that there's not a lot to do on campus, or there's no sports, or there's nothing fun that happens on campus. And that's absolutely not the case here at Onondaga Community College. We have a number of different things for students to get involved in. We have so many different clubs, so many different organizations. Our sports teams are like top-notch, top of the line, great. We have a fantastic both men's and women's lacrosse. Our baseball teams are fantastic, our basketball teams. So if you guys are looking to play sports at all, probably going forward into the spring, just get in touch with the coach. Reach out to them and say, hey, I'm at OCC, or I'm going to come to OCC for anyone that hasn't registered or has not applied. Just reach out and say that I'm interested and that you're looking to maybe get a tour of the facilities, or just ask some questions. But we do have great sports teams. We have great facilities. They're beautiful. And it's just a good way for the rest of the community to come together, to cheer on, support one another. We also, like I said, have a number of clubs and organizations. If there's not a club or organization on campus that you want there to be, you can absolutely just go and start one. It looks fantastic on a resume, and it's pretty easy to do. What else? We also host a lot of different community events on campus. Obviously things in this time are gonna be a little bit different, but it doesn't mean that going forward, once everything settles down, that we're not gonna pick right back up with those things. So we've hosted concerts, we've had many different things that happen in the SRC arena, cheer competitions, dance competitions, all that good stuff. Oh, and as I'm rambling, there's a few more questions that came through, so I appreciate that. All right. Oh, Michael, there you go. What are some ways when you're a student that you can get involved or get a job? So as I just said, as I was talking about, go to the Office of Student Leadership and Engagement. If you want to play sports, if you want to be in a club, you can absolutely do that. Getting a job. So there's a number of different ways that students can get jobs. If you have something which you'd have to figure out through financial aid, if you have work study, we do offer work study jobs. We also have jobs that are on campus, and we have a job fair that allows students to navigate the process of jobs off of campus. So that job fair is an internal job fair where you can see all of the things that OCC offers students in terms of jobs, as well as outside entities that come and say, hey, come, if you're an OCC student, come get a job here. One of the things, actually, we're always looking for it. Our office, so the Office of Student Recruitment, we hire student ambassadors. Our student ambassadors are trained by our office. They can also work in our office doing, office tasks like answering the phones, talking to prospective students and families, similar to what we do, but also giving tours to prospective students and families. So you would have to know the whole campus inside and out, be able to give a tour to incoming families and kind of just explain to them why OCC is a great place, why you're here, why you love it, and kind of just really be part of the face of OCC and just tell people, why it's so great to be here. All right. So Michael, if that answers your question. And now Rebecca, my child will be attending OCC, but is unsure of what wants to do for a career. Are there things in place to help expose? Oh my God, yes. Rebecca, the Career Services office here on campus is fantastic. They are so helpful, they're so fantastic, and they have so many different resources for students. When it comes to navigating jobs and the job market and different things like that, Career Services helps students at OCC build resumes, develop cover letters. They help with job navigation, internship navigation. You can sit down with a career service specialist and they have the world at their fingertips. They know so much, especially about the Syracuse area, but they will help students within specific majors, help them align with jobs that are specific to them. And they also do actually help with transfer assistance a little bit, not in the same way like an advisor would or credits or something like that, but helping you look up and see, okay, so you're here for, you said liberal arts. They would get on the computer and they would say, okay, so so-and-so has an amazing liberal arts program. Here, you can transfer here, you can do this. These are the credits that maybe you would need. So they have a number of different things to help your son for sure. So when he comes here, if he wants to get involved and contact Career Services, they can be found right on our website at sunyocc.edu. If you just go up to the search bar and type in Career Services, their information will pop up. And they, for the most part, you're welcome, Michael. For the most part, with the OCC is open. We just ask that people call or email and schedule appointments just to see what is available. Again, because of COVID, we want to make sure that everyone's safe, everyone's social distanced enough. And if you feel more comfortable setting up a phone call appointment or a Zoom appointment with any office, just be sure to reach out to them and ask them what their protocol is. And Rebecca, I hope that answers your question. If you have any more, please feel free to pop on in and ask away. All right, so since no one has a question, I'm gonna go a little bit into what the fall semester is gonna look like. We've got 4 different modules of classes, if you will. We have traditional classes, we have real-time remote classes, we have traditional online classes, and then we have HyFlex classes. So I'm happy to break those down for you right now. If you're a returning student watching this, or you've had any college experience at all, a traditional face-to-face, in-person class is exactly what it sounds like. You come to campus, you sit in a classroom with your professor and students around you. The only difference this year is, as I said before, we are taking all the necessary safety precautions. We have de-densified the classrooms. We have caps for the number of students that are allowed in the classes, and when you're in class, both the students and the professors must wear masks at all times. Just again, we're gonna keep everybody as safe as we possibly can this semester. So those traditional classes, if you go to register for classes, they are indicated right underneath, right on WebAdvisor. It'll say real-time remote, it'll say online, it'll say in person. And so real-time remote, I know we had a student, I think Melissa was talking about her real-time remote class. So for those of you that don't know what a real-time remote class is, real-time remote is as close as you can get to being face-to-face. So if you're using, say, Microsoft Teams, or you're using Zoom, kind of whatever mode that your professor has given to you, that's your class time. It's going to be like a web-based conference call, so you're talking to your professors, but you can also see students, the students in your class on the webcam. And again, it's as close to in-person as you can get, and it meets based on, well, it'll actually say on WebAdvisor, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Tuesday, Thursday, you have specific dates and specific times that you need to be at your computer, ready to learn, similar to what it would be for a traditional class. And Michael has a question. That's so funny, Michael. I was actually just gonna go through that because I'm going back to traditional classes. If you guys have traditional classes, or I'm sorry, in-person classes, I should say, not traditional. If you have in-person classes on campus, and you need to come to campus for anything at all, you will have to be screened right at the front door, the front gates, I don't even know, the main entrance to OCC, which we've blocked off all the other entrances around except for one, so there's no way that you can get in or get lost. So the security team actually up there will give you a temperature check. They will ask you if you have been experiencing any symptoms of COVID, or if you've had any travel outside of New York State in the past 14 days. So that's what the health screening process looks like. You will come through and they'll ask you those questions and they can point you in the right direction. So that's all you'll have to do. Just answer honestly and just answer honestly and keep everyone safe. And then also, I'm sorry, you'll get a wristband. So every day changes. You'll come through just to make sure that everyone's been screened. You will, after you get your temperature taken and ask those questions, you'll get a wristband that says you're clear to go. Don't worry, Michael, you'll be able to do it right. We've got a number of people there to help you with any directions. And also, as you're coming through, please wear a face mask or a face covering of some sort as you drive through. Just again, we're gonna keep everybody safe. Good questions, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. Keep them coming. I'm here. And if not, I can go back to talking a little bit about the different class modes that OCC has put in place for the fall semester, again, to keep everybody safe. But back to the traditional face-to-face meetings, I will say, as kind of a tip, since I just explained the whole health screening process, I would get here a little bit early just to make sure that you know where you're, especially on your first week or first day of classes. Get here a little bit early because that process is a little bit different. Again, there's only one entrance in and one exit out to campus, so you have to take into account that you're gonna find the entrance, which is over on West Seneca Turnpike. Go in, and there's no other way in or out, so it might take you a little extra time to get to where you're gonna go, based on the roundabout. But just arrive a few minutes early, get screened, come on in, and then you're good to go. We'll socially distance you, and everyone again is gonna wear face masks in class with your professors. Back to real-time remote classes. I think I finished explaining what real-time remote was, but again, 100% of the course activity is done online, just via web-based conferencing. Some tips for that. You know, I think it's really important to, especially not being in person, is to make sure that you stay engaged, make sure that you got a nice space set up for yourself, whether you're at your kitchen table or, you know, at a desk, someplace where you can sit upright and do your work and be really focused. Make sure you have your camera on, just so you see your professor, they see you. It's just a good way to keep engaged and kind of keep you focused throughout the whole class. I think that's really important. Also, muting your microphone. I think that's a good tip. If you're not speaking in the class, I think a good tip is just to mute your microphone so that there's no extra background noise. You know, if you got a dog or anything, you don't want to hear the dog barking in the background and have it be distracting other people. And also, logging on early, just to avoid any technological issues. So like I said, with the in-person classes, you know, get here a little early. With the real-time remote, log on a little early, make sure that you're all set up, make sure you got your webcams working, your microphones working. And again, obviously, technology is technology, things happen. The best way to avoid things like that, and the best way to make sure that your professor knows you're engaged, is just talk to your professor. You know, if you're having any difficulties, let them know ahead of time. I'm sure that, you know, this is this is a pretty different time for everybody. So obviously there's going to be a lot of factors that are taken into consideration. So just trying to alleviate that extra anxiety that might happen through any web-based technologies or something like that. Just get in contact with your professor. Everyone here is going to be really understanding and going to be really helpful of different situations. All right. One of the last things I want to talk about is finally the online classes, like the remote classes. I'm sorry, not remote classes, the totally online classes. If anyone's ever taken an online class, you know, that's what it is. It's an online class. There's no web or face-to-face technology that needs to be used. There's no in-person requirement at all. It's kind of like a flexible, do it on your own time. The thing with online classes to be mindful of is you want to make sure that your time management and organizational skills are in place, especially the time management. You know, if you're doing stuff on your own, if you have your own time to do your work, due dates can kind of creep up on you. And this goes for anything, you know, if you guys have a planner or you have like a desk calendar or something like that, just use it, you know, write your due dates down, especially if you're on online classes and you're not having that face-to-face interaction, whether it's in person or online. Just write it down and say, oh, look, I got this due, so this is due on Friday, let me make sure I do this on Tuesday or Thursday before it's done. Just giving yourself that time and really having those time management skills in place. The last one I want to talk about is a HyFlex class. The HyFlex classes are cool because we understand, you know, if students have like a lab that they need to do, or they have an in-person component that's really important to their degree or to their career, we have designed a class that allows students to come and do their lab portion half the time, as well as sit in class half the time, while the other half is working on the real-time remote format. So that means that one side of your class is going to be in person and the other side would be online. And that's, again, just in case students need any type of real, like, interaction or hands-on activity. So that's done for that reason. And if you don't know what those schedules look like now, they should be coming out pretty soon. So you'll be able to see exactly what days you'll have to come to campus and what days you will be online learning. We got one more. I will be a biology major. Are there any places on campus I can go for extra help? Michael, that's a great question. I should actually talk about the Learning Center. The Learning Center is a place where you can go to get extra help. They have the ability to help students in any major. So even if you're not a biology major, you know, if you're liberal arts or you're taking any type of math class or something like that, go to the Learning Center. They're so helpful. You'll be able to schedule an appointment. You can do some one-on-one tutoring. Again, we're taking all the safety precautions into place. Whether we are, you know, social distancing or, you know, spacing out things so that people can clean the rooms before other students come in. But the Learning Center is a really, really great option. So you can get, you know, study skills there. You can create study groups, have that one-on-one interaction with tutoring. And sometimes students will tutor you, students that are doing really fantastic in that class. And then sometimes there's adjunct professors or other professors that teach that as well. So you're getting a lot of like hands-on extra help from people that actually know what they're doing. So the Learning Center is fantastic. It's right here in the Gordon Student Center. So stop in, shoot them an email, give them a call, and see if you can set up an appointment to be tutored. But there's a ton of extra help on campus for sure, for anyone that needs it. Let's see. I think the last thing that I want to talk about today will be the safety measures on campus. Now, I talked a little bit about classroom distancing and de-densifying and social distancing and different things like that, but I do want to talk about the dining hall. So the dining hall, it's a little bit different. So it's implemented in all dining facilities, and it's kind of going to be like a grab and go kind of thing. So students won't be in the dining hall area, but they are still able. It is open. Students can go in, grab their food. They can sit down, but bulk dispenses and service stations will be eliminated just due to COVID concerns. So just keep that in mind. But all the food is packaged to go, grab and go. Fountain drinks are available, but cups will be distributed by people at stations. Again, friends, we're just keeping everybody as safe and as socially distant as possible. All right. Do you have to go to campus to get help from the Learning Center, or can you schedule remote sessions? Good question, Melissa. You can schedule remote sessions with individuals. That would be something that you would call ahead of time and talk to them. You know, if you're not comfortable coming to campus, or you need that, if you have Zoom or the ability for Teams, you can absolutely do that. So you know you don't have to be on campus to get the Learning Center's help. But good question, good question. I wish I knew. I wish we all knew. So if anyone has any other questions, speak now. Just pop them in the chat. Again, I'm here for a few more minutes, so if you guys want any other questions answered, please let me know. I think I've covered everything that I feel as though you guys should know, either before you start classes or for prospective students that are looking at OCC. Again, if you have any questions, you can reach out to the recruitment office, which is the office that I work at. You can reach directly out to me. My name is Mariana. Our website also is sunyocc.edu. So please feel free to reach out. And you can email us at recruitment@sunyocc.edu in case you have any other questions. Our team is more than happy to help. And we can I pop that in there? I can put that in there. Actually, I can type that right there so you guys have it. Recruitment, making sure I spell everything right, at sunyocc.edu. And my name is Mariana, a smiley face, and I'm happy to help anytime. But it looks like you guys don't have any more questions. So I'm gonna sign off, and I hope that you guys, if you need anything, please contact us and let us know, okay? But it was wonderful talking.